I think it was a good reset for our team just because of the nature of switching the schedule last minute. You don't normally get that typical break right before fall camp. And just kind of where we're at physically, we needed a couple extra weeks to get some guys back and get them healed up. But we have a lot of depth guys who were forced into action that it's been great to talk to them about the details and kind of just get them more immersed in what we're doing in all phases.
Yeah. Cody, trying to get information on Lincoln has been a little challenging.
You and me both, yeah.
And whatever information is out there, if it's on the internet, you don't know how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you found about Lincoln, what they may be trying to do, things along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, we have tape on them, but even it seems like their rosters change all the time. I think for them, being like an independent D2 team is just kind of, they aren't really in a conference. They play all their games on the road. They got some absolute dudes on their team. I don't know if you guys remember Jalen Henderson from the COVID year. He's on their team. He starts both ways for them. Mm-hmm. If you go back in, he was a great Bengal. He was starting punt returner and played receiver and was really good for fantasy. They have a couple guys that are SEC guys that for various reasons have been in and out of football. Because one of the things at the Division II level is, that there's no 5-year clock. It's just seasons played. So you could play 3 years and then come back 10 years later and finish your eligibility at that institution. So I think it's been interesting. Desmond Gumbs, their head coach, athletic director, I appreciate what he's trying to do just because in California, their reasoning was there are so many kids that don't have an opportunity to go play because Division II football used to be all over California, whether it was Humboldt or Chico, Azusa just started to bring back their program, Santa Clara, Cal State Hayward, which is now Cal State East Bay. There's just kind of a dearth of football in California when you consider it comparatively to other schools with relative populations. So giving those guys an opportunity to play football, there's some good dudes on that team. They don't have a lot of depth. There aren't a lot of guys on the football team, but they're going to have some guys up front that are as good as anybody we've played so far. I think Jalen Henderson could start for anybody in the Big Sky. I just think when you're underfunded like that, it's hard enough for us to get, elite media help, like who's pumping out all these graphics and the help. Imagine them. We have it great compared to a lot of folks. And I just think the further down you go, and they're still kind of in the infancy of getting this program going. They've not been playing football for a long time, but they're going, and we get to kind of play and see who shows up. It is hard to get great information, but I think tape is probably better than a lot of news articles that you'd read just to say, hey, this guy can play, this guy's been out. But it'll be a unique experience for us going to play somebody like this. It'll be unique for our guys. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who we're playing. It matters how we play. And we got to make sure that we communicate, we take care of the football, we run to the football, and hopefully it sorts itself out.
Cody, is there have you been able to detect anything that they try to do offensively or defensively?
Yeah,
what are you looking at?
We have 3 games of tape on them. We've watched their game against Lincoln and Missouri, another D2 team, Texas A&M Kingsville, and then Arkansas Pine Bluff. So, it's harder to get the tape, again, because their video coordinator is also their D-line coach. He's busy. But that's not uncommon at smaller levels of football. But, we have all their games on tape, and we've watched them. They're a team that it'll be interesting to see how they go because they've kind of played every team a little bit differently. But they're a 3-3-5 team that plays a lot more man coverage in Tampa 2 than most people that we've played. It'll be interesting to see their strategy when they come out against us. I think they know that we can throw it and we're big up front and would love to get our ground game going a little bit. But we got to, at the end of the day, if they're going to play with 7 guys in the box, you don't want to run the ball against that. It's just not good football. And if they play Tampa 2, then we're going to have to be able to run the football well and pick our shots to throw because you don't want to just beat your dudes up for a whole week. We got to have good enough schematic answers in every phase. But on offense, they've gotten some heavy sets where they're going to look like it's the goal line in the middle of the field. And other than that, they're normally a 10 personnel team. So structurally, might look similar to us. On defense, they're drastically different. But, man, they have some corners who are dudes. And I don't know their respective backstories. We don't have a lot of information on them. But we'll see. They have, one guy, Jalen Johnson, number 1, who he'll be more physical at the line of scrimmage, jumping around, taking shots than anybody who we've played so far. these guys do play with a sort of reckless abandon. I mean, you can tell that they love football, and you must love football if you play every game on the road. Got to pay a lot of your own way, and kind of going through what they've gone through. But they are not without talent, without depth and resources, maybe. But I think their coaches are doing some good stuff to try and showcase those guys a little bit, and they're playing freaking hard, man. I mean, you see that, sometimes it's a little bit extra, but they got guys in the fourth quarter who are driving people into the ground and trying to block people out of bounds and, playing through the whistle. I mean, they're gonna give you 4 quarters of both barrels.
Cody, I listened to your talk to your players, and you sort of cautioned them not to react to things. What are you seeing on the video that you're concerned about?
I don't want to overly elaborate on it, but you always understand that in these types of games, those guys have a big chip on their shoulder. If you guys watch the tape, you'd probably be able to tell just as much as I have, but I don't want to put it on any one guy. I mean, things happen in those games, and kids are emotional, whatever level. But just trying to get them to understand that, it's so important for us to represent our community well, represent this team well. And just the way college football is now, you haul off and whack somebody, you're out of the game, whether you like it or not. And, the targeting stuff, you get suspended, and I know everybody wants all these big hits. And watching their tape, it looks like an NFL hits highlight tape, like in the 80s, which a lot of that stuff now is scarier. But they're gonna play really hard, and they're gonna test us physically and emotionally, and we have to be prepared to withstand that.
Cody, that has been a little bit of an issue. I mean, you have had a lot of penalties. Your team in the first couple of games, is that something that
I guess
you had
six again, something like that?
You had double figures, I think, in the Vegas game, and I think you had 9, if memory is right, against New Mexico.
Nice.
Is that something that you try to reemphasize with the players as far as the little things can make a difference?
Yeah, to me, I'd say, I know we had penalties. To me, the post snap penalties, like, you could call holding on every play if you wanted to, and I don't want to, I don't want to get into surmising whether they're good or bad calls. But I don't say it's not an issue. I mean, penalties are always an issue, but you're worried about the penalties you can control. We talk about the false start stuff, the tempo stuff, the getting set. You talk about playing with good hands on defense, but the holding calls, if there were unsportsmanlike penalties or late hit penalties, like, I would be really upset about those. I'll come unglued. But to throw up your hands about, I see like certain holding calls. I mean, you could call that on every play if you wanted to. But it's not something I'm concerned about at this point. And obviously, I think when you play better pass rushers and better receivers, it's harder to just play with great hands. I mean, if I made you guard LeBron James and say, "Hey, don't foul him," like, are you going to stop him? I mean, you got to see how much can I get away with, how much, and I think there's a learning curve there for new guys of this is how much I can get away with, this is how much I can't do. And that's where, when you're playing with a variety of new guys, that's really important.
Originally, you were supposed to play Central Arkansas this week, and that game got pushed out. Would you have preferred to play Central Arkansas, or would you prefer to play a team that everybody expects you to beat by?
I would love to play Central Arkansas. I think for us, it was more about getting a home game, because I believe we were going to have to go there, and that would have been 4 games on the road.
Yep.
Because Central Arkansas came here in 21, and I don't want to play 4. To me, I'd love to play Central Arkansas, but I don't want to have to go to Arkansas. Playing 4 games on the road. I mean, how many teams have played 3 road games consecutively and are in good shape right now? Probably not many. Scheduling is really important, and that's what I really appreciate about what Pauline has done. Is we just said, hey, let's take our medicine this year and let's develop this team and do things good. Because, would you rather not take the money from the other money game and continue to push that? No, like you need those to fund the program now. With what ICCU has done, this is the last year we're going to have 2 of those money games scheduled, and our schedule next year, I think, should be exponentially better, and that's part of the plan. But in order to make next year great, you kind of had to take some medicine this year. Mm-hmm. I did not want to play 4 on the road. I would have played Alabama if they would have come to the Dome, But we wanted to get a home game. I mean, I don't think with the situation, how it ended up, I don't think you want to go an entire 6 weeks of football without having played a home game. Mm-hmm. But regardless of who we play, I wanted to get an opportunity for our guys to do that, because we still have not done a normal Friday routine, and we've been playing football since July 22nd. So it'll be good for us to be at home. Hey, is it nice to play games that you're expected to win, everybody at every level has a couple of those.
Yeah.
But you also, I have to caution that you're going to drop a lot of those. I mean, they're guys at every level have their FCS over FBS upsets all the time. Somebody from the Big Sky always beats somebody from there. And I mean, when I was in Colorado, I remember when we lost to Montana State and what that felt like. That's why it's kind of a coach's worst nightmare. But playing a home game is really important for our guys and for our community. So that's what we wanted to accomplish there.
Cody, go ahead, Brad.
Tell us about the quarterback situation. Who's available and who isn't this week?
Yeah, so it's right now we're kind of down to two, but we gotta do a good job there. Jordan is rehabbing. We just gotta. I don't know when he'll be cleared. He had a good surgery and he's been able. Today was the most he's done since he's got whacked. So he might wake up tomorrow and feel terrible, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're still a couple weeks away. And then, but I mean, Harsh will go play the majority of the snaps regardless of what happens. Just because Sharman's out, he hurt his shoulder on the first drive of the New Mexico game. Kind of tried to push through in a couple of circumstances, and we realized he wouldn't be able to go. Logan Gonzalez is really capable, but even the two guys behind him are dinged too. This is definitely the most injured my quarterback room has ever been. I don't think I've ever had a guy miss more than a game, and this year collectively we've had quite a few.
Do you have any eligibility left?
Yeah. You don't want me anymore. But I think it's funny. It's one of those things where people are like, oh, why do you have 5 quarterbacks on the roster? It's like, well, if we didn't, we'd be going into the game with, one. But
Wildcat.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody, speaking of going down the line, if the Bengals do what they're supposed to, blah, 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 theoreticals, some of the guys that haven't played much are going to get some snaps this weekend. What do you want to see out of anyone playing?
Yeah, well, first off, we haven't done anything. I mean, we've had good spurts this year, so trying to put a feather in our cap and say, hey, let's kick back this week is the wrong mentality. Have we scored on consecutive drives this year? I mean, I don't know, on a couple of them maybe, but we got to go out and play good football, and we need to create some turnover. We need to create more turnovers. We got to, like you mentioned the penalty thing. You got to play good football and see how it goes. But I also been very firm with our guys. Is I don't care who you're playing, whether it's Pocatello High School or UNLV or Lincoln. Nobody goes out. You're not going to play guys that aren't going to help you win football games down the road because you're still in the preseason. We're going to have a lot of twos that maybe haven't had to emerge yet that need to play meaningful snaps as we go down the stretch of the Big Sky. And if this is your first opportunity to get them 20 to 30 snaps, you want to do it. But for us, we got to put ourselves in a position where that's a conversation, but it's never a conversation to be like, hey, let's play the freshman and see what he can do. Not for me, because these dudes have guys. I mean, it's not like you put in one of our freshman receivers, Jalen Henderson's going to lock him up. Like ain't nobody. I mean, I'm worried about our ones getting open against Jalen Johnson, not the twos. So, and pass pro wise, you're not going to an O lineman that can't protect versus all the different blitzes that they brought so far. You're going to get somebody hurt. So we, we're planning on playing our starters until it's clear, and if it's not clear, they're going to play the whole game. But those guys are capable of making it tough. I mean, even Arkansas Pine Bluff, they had to score 2 touchdowns late in the game. I think at halftime it was like 13-6 or something. But I mean, if it's 13-6 at halftime, you better believe. I don't know. It's like our guys are playing. They got to play good football, and these guys are capable. And are they a 4-quarter advantage to us? I would hope so because of our resources and our depth. But man, you go out there for the first drive of the game, they're not going to be outmatched at all. They're going to be ready to roll.
Cody, you talked about the quarterback situation. How about the running back situation? Your offensive line, are you going to get anybody back?
So O-line, we're hoping Jorgen Miller will be able to go a little bit. He's a guy we lost in the UNLV game, our right guard. The running backs, I tell you, Robert's going to be out for the year. Still working on trying to get Brett fully up to speed. He was kind of pressing the action earlier and maybe wasn't totally ready, so the bye week's been good for him. Dason, today was the first time he's been a full participant in practice since UNLV. So we hope that he'll feel good enough to go. Him and JC are both guys that we'll kind of have to get reports on, but I would love to play Dason a little bit, even if he doesn't feel 100%, just because I don't want to go into next week and he hasn't played in a month. I think when you're a running back, just working yourself into a lather and having confidence that you can cut on that thing and break tackles is really important. We've been able to get, Sudbury a lot of reps. Titan Mason's role has shifted a lot because he went from being a guy that probably thinks he's going to redshirt to a guy that we're going to need really good carries and pass protection out of during the year. So much thinner at the running back position than I would like to be, but that's an area where we got to develop and put those guys in a position to be successful and make sure we put together a game plan that can complement what they do well.